here. Okay, where else?
All right, a few minutes late here with some technical difficulties, but 8:26 we'll call the meeting to order. And we'll begin with the reading of our mission statement. Lewis County Economic Development, through its board, the IDA, and its brand, Naturally Lewis, are championing the growth of a community where people want to live, work, build business, and play. We foster forward thinking and relationship building, connecting people, businesses, partnerships, and resources to effectively and efficiently grow our county. Privilege of the floor we have. So moving on to the meeting minutes from September were sent out last month or last week, sorry, by Jenna. Did everyone have a chance to review?
Yes.
Any comments, questions? Motion to approve. Goggin, a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Financial report, Cheyenne's not here today, but Brittany.
All right. We'll start with the profit and loss. Just going down the list here. So our other income line is up due to us receiving our Project C funding. So if you can recall, we received a $15,000 grant from the national grid to help supplement the DBA Lewis County program. We received half of those funds. And a portion of that is going to the Chamber of Commerce to help us with marketing of the program to its members, as well as drive increased membership. So we received half of that grant. And once we hit certain milestones, under our revenues line, our fee line is negative because we reversed the Chuck Hill Roasters pilot fee invoice out of our books because they decided to not move forward with the pilot. Unfortunately, economic development expense is high because we did receive an invoice from JCC for the child care boot camp. That invoice is split in half with Jefferson County Economic Development. And since this, we do have a check cut to pay that and get reimbursed from Jefferson County. Agency expense is high due to the audit invoice that we received, which was received in August instead of September as budgeted. Occupancy is negative because the chamber was paid like 3 months. And then payroll expense, that's going to continue to run high because we budgeted to have another position for this fiscal year. Any questions on that? Balance sheet, our checking and savings is up and accounts receivable is down due to the Clear Path Solar IDA fee invoices being paid. And then our accounts payable is up because of the Bowers audit invoice and the JCC child care invoice. And then our expenditures report. Just want to highlight that we've paid the chamber for a variety of sponsorships that month. So that includes like Leadership Academy and the Project C marketing for the DBA Lewis County program. Any questions?
No questions, a motion to approve the financials from August. Yeah, any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries, thank you. All right, so now we have a couple solar project and another incentive application for Turn Highlands. And I think Chris is
Yeah, and we also have Adam with Saturn on the line as well. Hi, Adam.
Hello,
How we doing?
I'm doing well. How's everybody else?
Thank you.
Good.
Great.
Okay, so for today's board meeting, we're looking to approve a public hearing resolution and the seeker resolution for the Damagala Solar Project. Adam, do you want to run through what the project is and just give a basic overview? You're mute.
Yeah, sure thing. What would be sort of the best format to do this? I can share my screen if you like, or I could just talk at a high level about it, or whatever you prefer.
High level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. The solar project that I'm presenting today, called the Damagala Solar Project, named after the landowners Robert and Nancy Damagala that live over on East Road in the township of Leiden, here in Lewis County. Signed the property from Rob Damagala about 2.5 years ago now, and we've been permitting the project up into about September 2021, where we received site plan approval and seeker negative declaration from the town of Leiden. They did not have an ordinance in place at the time, so no special use permit was required for us to proceed to the building permit stage, which is what we're sort of preparing for right now. The project in size is about a 25-acre fenced project. It's a 4.5 megawatt AC project, a 5.2 megawatt DC project. What else is there about it? We're going to be doing a build out from the 23 kV system that passes through the town of Leiden. We're going to be extending a line approximately, I think, 2,500 feet from the point of interconnection, building up the road of Leiden Road. Other than that, for the timeline for construction, we've paid our 25% interconnection deposit to National Grid. We're set due to pay our 75% interconnection deposit in the middle of November, with the aim to get on the interconnection schedule for 2023 for this project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just to review what the pilot benefit is again, so it's going to be a 25-year pilot. The pilot fee or pilot per megawatt amount is going to be 7,500, which according to our policy is the highest amount because it is being located on prime agricultural lands. So when Cheyenne sent the overlay to soil and water, every part of that parcel came back as prime ag lands. They will be paying 7,500 per megawatt at a 2% escalator. And finance committee a couple months ago, we did review the cost benefit analysis for the project. Provided to you guys. Any things for Adam on the project? Chris, you wanna get into the public hearing?
Yeah.
resolution?
Sure. Thanks, Britt. So the first resolution is just to authorize holding a public hearing with respect to the project. The usual resolution, getting the notice published in the paper, letter to the tax jurisdictions notifying them of the public hearing. So that's the first resolution before you.
As loud as she goes today.
Okay.
So,
Sorry.
Resolution for public hearing, there'll be a date set as usual. The notice will go in the paper and the taxing jurisdiction will be notified. And we need a roll call vote for that.
Correct. Yep.
So any other questions on that? All right. Do I have a motion to approve? Jessica? Goggin? Roll call. Goggin? Yes. Jessica? Okay. Herb? Yes. Joe? Yes. Darlene excused. Tom excused.
Very good.
And we have a seeker resolution.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair. So this is seeker resolution. This case is very easy because the town planning board made a determination, looks like last year with respect to this project, issued a negative declaration. So, whoop, want to make sure I wasn't on mute. So this case, the IDA would just be piggybacking off that determination for purposes of this resolution. This is our favorite kind of seeker resolution where the IDA doesn't have to make its own determination. So that's what this resolution is.
So our audio is not great, Chris, so I'll just repeat that. So in this case, the town was the lead agency on the secret resolution. They had a negative declaration, so we don't have to be the lead on it, but our role is to essentially adapt what was approved by the town.
Correct. Yes,
And does that need a roll call as well?
it does.
Okay.
It does.
All right, so the secret resolution related to the Damagala Solar Project. A motion. Herb, second. Any discussion? Roll call, Goggin. Jessica. Mackenzie. Herb. Yes. Joe, yes. Darlene excused. Tom excused. Motion carries.
Excellent. We will get this in motion.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Adam.
We'll work on a public hearing date and keep you guys posted.
Perfect. Thanks, buddy. Take care, everybody.
Thank
Chris,
you.
Chris, before you go, I have a
Yes.
question for you. Can you hear me okay?
I can, yes.
This is Kevin McCardle. This really relates more to the next project here, which was the Turin Highland Lodge project. Now, the IDA has adopted a uniform project agreement that we need to have in all of our files for auditing purposes.
Correct.
At what point do you have the applicant complete that? I've not had Turin Highland Lodge complete that agreement yet. Do you do that at the beginning or?
Forgive me, is this a new project or one that already closed?
It's a new project.
So the project agreement itself that's required under general municipal law, we have that executed as one of the closing documents.
Right.
So that would be, we would have a draft of that would go out to all the parties. They would take a look at that and they would execute that just like they would execute the lease to issuer. It's a closing document.
Okay, at closing then. Okay.
Yep.
Very good. I'll circulate it around to them just so they see it. But I had not prepared it yet. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Have a good day.
Thanks.
Is there anything else from me?
I think we're all set, Adam. Thanks for
Okay.
joining us.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Good day.
Okay, so next, we discussed this last month or the month before, Turin Highlands Lodge.
Yes, so just to give a background on what the project is, Turin Highland Lodge is a new lodge that's being built in the village of Turin on the West Road, just down the road from Snow Ridge. It's gonna be a 6-room. Each room is going to have like the kitchenette and the beds and the couches, so it's more of like a suite style rather than just motel rooms. We worked with them through the DDA Lewis County program, helped them to get their business plans squared away so that they're ready to request financing. We were able to award them with a small CDBG grant through the Launch LC program for some of their furnishings. And they are coming to us for a pilot and sales tax collection. So in line with our and we're considering this because it is not happening. Period. And that would be based on the proposed assessed value of that project. It's gonna be about a $600,000 construction. And they're looking to start construction early spring. At this point, we are looking to approve the public hearing resolution. Post the public hearing and then we'll return to accepting comments and providing discussion. Anything you'd like to add?
Just, the applicant right now is Caitlin Matthews.
Yep.
And they are in the process of setting up an LLC.
An S-
called
an
Highland
S corp.
Lodge LLC. She had said in her paperwork, I think, that they were planning on being a corporation, a subchapter S corporation, but they have changed their mind and now they're heading towards an LLC. I also have to disclose that they're represented by Candace Randall, my partner. That's about all I have. So I did ask Chris on that earlier about there's in our audits recently, we've been criticized for not having a uniform project agreement. Chris has provided with a standard uniform project agreement. Which is sort of a simple authorized financing. And I hadn't been doing these before. What stage, I was asking Chris at what stage in the process does it? So we have that closing. One more closing document to sign.
The document for Joe to sign.
Oh, thank you for that. So, and the resolution was Kevin shared yesterday.
Cheyenne, by her title, which was incentives or whatever, sure, whatever official title, it authorizes basically Cheyenne to work to set up a date for the public hearing. There's not a date for the public hearing, it's basically it's authorizing Cheyenne.
Any questions? A motion to approve the public hearing resolution for Stern Highway Lodge. Goggin, a second. Sir, any discussion? Roll call. Goggin. Jessica. Mackenzie. Sir. Joe, yes. Darlene, excuse. Tom, excuse.
Can you hear?
Yep. Okay. So I'm asking the board to consider us partnering with the county and funding a child care feasibility study through KinderCare. To give some background, KinderCare is a nationwide child care for-profit. They have child care facilities around the nation and in New York. And through our entire healthcare initiative, with KinderCare to potentially or retrofit, say, the Glenville School for a facility to help solve some of our childcare needs. So this contract is kind of the next step in their process. It's to assess the whole scope of the childcare needs in Lewis County, as well as assess the Glenville School. New sites and parcels of land to build a facility in the Waffle area. They have a really unique business model where partnering with local employers and schools and hospitals is a main part of their business plan. They partnerships. So with these results, even if it does not end up locating here, we have this feasibility study, we have those results. For the projects on the road. So because we got the funding and that's $5,001, we need the board to approve it. And just looking back at what we've allocated in the past, so back in 2021, this board approved spending about $42,000 for the childcare boot camp. And to date, we've spent, just us, and this doesn't include Jefferson County, about $17,500. So we do have some childcare funds left over. We are looking at. Like calling the results of this one.
That be redone or sort of going over. Right, like, what's the life?
I think it's as long as the demographics don't
Yeah.
change drastically in the
Right.
area.
Yeah, yeah, they'll be looking at the demographics and.
Sure.
Like that, like what, like rate of childcare would work in this county. That's information that we don't really have. We've been basing a lot of our discussions off of what Hand started and how they operate. So this is really a completely different model. It's a for-profit business, whereas Hand is not for profit, so. Kind of a different scope here. But will be really interesting to see the results of that, how we can continue to move forward to solve this issue. Any questions on this contract?
I was just gonna, I have misgivings about it being a large company, but I would also just acknowledge that Hand in Hand has had some opportunities with the county
Yeah,
to look at expansion, and it's, you know, it's recently turned down a few of those opportunities.
yeah,
So
and
I-
and to give an update on them, you know, they've been working with DCA on some site plans for an expansion at their site. They did some research on locating other areas, but they just felt that it was more feasible for them to just expand at their current location. And with that were provided to them, they were able to create, well, they turned the Zoom room into a classroom.
Into pre-K.
Into a pre-K classroom.
And then they're creating, once they have approval on everything, it would be 2 infant rooms, 2 toddler rooms. Yeah, because they basically got rid of the lot. Yeah, essentially you've got 16 kids in the infant room, but not in preschool, so I'm not sure how that'll work without relocating pre-K outside the building. But
So Hand in Hand has received some of those county ARPA funds. And they've been able to, you know, match jobs and create. Opportunity. Of course, we'll continue to work hand in hand. But that's it.
$49.99 and 5,000 and more.
I think so that the county didn't have to go through an approval process.
They keep it under 5,000.
Yes.
Ah,
Like,
okay.
not process, we have to now approve.
I should
You are.
follow that. Okay.
No other questions? Take the motion. Second. just add, there's a really good interview on NPR recently about the childcare situation. And it was, I'll share it, I'll see if I can find it again and share it with everyone. But it actually talked about some of these for-profit businesses and said their average margin or whatever, not profit on an annual basis of 1%. So they're, I mean, they're technically for-profit businesses, but it's still a very, as we all know, a very challenging business.
Okay. So this was on the agenda last month, but because we thought she did. the motion to post that. Any questions on that?
So take a motion. Second. Favor. Now that,
I'm sorry, I said you as Jessica Young on the motion. Would that be Jessica motion or?
I still go by Young,
Okay. just
but I'm
fine.
really bad at this.
Okay.
I'm really bad at this.
What is it officially? Like, have you officially changed?
My license says Jessica Mosier, but I think legally I'm still Jessica Young, so I kind of have both right now.
and with that, with her appointment to the board by the county, then as you all know, we our finance. Currently, as it stands, there's even opening. That's good for that. Anyone else has a real strong desire.
That's in the minutes, Jennifer.
Yeah.
A real strong desire.
Governance committee is a lot of fun in quotation marks.
It's also something only the lawyers would enjoy.
So I guess we need a motion to appoint Jessica to the governance committee. Discussion. Favor? Motion carries.
And on the governance for Darlene and Jessica, we will be scheduling a governance committee here soon. We do have a couple of policies that we are revising and a new policy to review. The policy revisions are related to a lot of the technology and security, data security topics that Darlene has been pushing for a while. So revising some of our employee handbook policies. One is our property disposal policy and adding in a statement in there about thinking about the sale of the building. Is it going towards economic development, community development, job creation, not just selling the building to sell the building? And then a policy that talks about being able to vote via Zoom if you have a circumstance that you can't attend a board meeting, like you're sick or whatever. So we do need to adopt a policy to be able to do that. So we'll schedule that.
Director update.
Yes, so in your board packets was my executive director report, two highlights from September. We were able to successfully submit the Village of Belleville PRI application and the Village of Lawrence Falls. That took up a lot. Really, really great application. So if anybody's interested in looking at those applications this summer. Projects and so we'll see if any one of those will be awarded. We're also in the process of working with the county on a RFEI request for expression of interest process for the Plainfield School building. Obviously, the county owns that building right now, but it's their intent to not own the building once they are done utilizing that building. The assessment plates have moved out. So in the meantime, sure the LCDC is going to be involved in some sort of potential acquisition of the property to be able to sell that property to a viable developer. And we're really prioritizing housing and or lodging, but we will consider other types of projects. So we are starting that process. And that process will be very similar to the Lionsdale property process that we did last year. Some other fun things that we're involved in, Jenna has been working with the Lowell Business Club. We want to talk about that a little bit. We're starting to bring entrepreneurship into the schools and trying to figure out ways to get kids more involved in entrepreneurship. And this is one initiative that we're involved in. Want to chat a little bit?
Sure. So we had a 2-week intern last fall, summer.
And
Spring, sorry. A high school student in Blake Place's class. You might know Blake Place from Hidden Pastures Dairy. She's now the business teacher at Lowville. And she set up all of her students with a short internship. And we had Bella Crop for 2 weeks. And this was one of her projects that she had worked on. How do we get basically the DBA program into schools? And they have a business club that's kind of been in charge of the school store, but that's about it. So what we did was come up with a plan where the students would be more engaged in entrepreneurship. They'd get to meet with different business owners. They'd get to learn from local attorneys and bookkeepers and basically expose them to several different people in the community, and then come up with a business idea and pitch it at the end of the school year. So they're in the process of setting up those speaker series right now. So they'll be exposed to all those different topics. And then they'll be working either as individuals or as groups to come up with different business ideas to pitch. And there will be a cash reward at the end for them to either start their business or continue to evolve that plan. So it's very cool. And we're hoping that this model takes off and we can expose other schools to it, and maybe it'll be a competition within Lewis County and the different schools for that pitch competition. So really exciting things. We've been talking about this stuff for a long time, but Blake is a great partner to have in it.
Mhm. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then lastly, the community economic program that are being set up through the LCC. Today we have our first committee meeting to give them an overview of the programs and to work with them on setting the funding focuses for 2023. So the intent is to hopefully we'll have all those funds by January 1st to start accepting applications for all of those programs by March 2023. Any questions?
How was that? Did you get 6? You were targeting 6 people for that panel, right?
Yeah,
Did you
we
get-
did. I think we had 7.
Mhm.
We had one drop, so I think we had 6.
There. Alright. Moving on to new business?
Just wanted to conversation with you all about the 501c3 presentation, any follow-up thoughts or ideas or concerns in general. Like Joe's been a part of this conversation since the beginning, but like Doug and Mackenzie, Justin, we were able to take a look at some of the slide deck that I sent. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was well done and well presented, and I couldn't think of any questions from it. Makes sense from every. I had brought it up to Cheyenne that in the forecast, everything was increasing by 3%, but some things were not. And the things that weren't were showing our projections to be better as far as revenue coming in than other ones. So I haven't gotten a chance to speak further about it to see if we wish to change some of those to get it better. But again, from my point of view, I'd rather see a worst case scenario presentation that's more than likely going to happen,
Right.
but just to be prepared for it.
Yep.
There was also something that I can't, there was a line that said revenue streams yet to be implemented or something like that,
To
right?
be determined.
Determined, right, but the number was there
Mhm.
and it took away from the final number, which I don't think it should, but we can talk about it.
Okay. You'd be willing to sit down and chat more?
Yeah.
about it?
Yeah.
I think. A very healthy exercise to continue to look at that budget and, you know, have an idea of what a realistic idea of where we're going, that to me isn't a showstopper in terms of whether we move forward with this or not, because really that those projections and the need to determine where you know, our funding is coming from would actually, you know, be very similar even if we didn't move forward with restructuring.
Mhm.
So it's really not because of the restructuring that's causing any of that. So just, it's still, you know, very valuable thing that we need to keep on, but it's not like it's just a result of the proposed restructuring. And that it would be drastically different otherwise. The bottom line is, you know, just continue to have conversations about part of economic development is having the people here to support our businesses. So when someone walks in the door, there's actual someone to talk to and resources to help. That doesn't mean we shouldn't still be working on bigger projects and land and buildings and stuff, but you know, frankly, dumping a bunch of money into a business park and having no one at an office to support that is not a helpful, you know, outcome either. So.
I thought it was well done and I answered any questions that were.
So as I mentioned, a big next step is to send out that survey to all of the board members on your interests of like, where do you see yourselves fitting in? Because between the three boards, there's close to 40 people that could be rearranged and, you know, based on where your interests are. Some of you might want to be on the 501c3 board, some of you might be content with staying where you're at. So we just really need to gauge that, because if you think about all the people that are already involved, like it hits all the industries, all the types of skill sets. small business owners to manufacturers and everything in between. So we have a good group of people. It's just where do you see yourself fitting in? What board?
Yeah, I think, and specifically from the IDA standpoint, you know, this board will serve big picture economic development function and more of the nuts and bolts of pilot agreements and policies and that sort of thing. So it will be, you know, a little different focus. It'll also likely mean less meetings. But the potential for other meetings for those that are interested. And, you know, one thing we have talked about is just what's the motivation for like this board. If, you know, a lot of us are here because of the bigger economic development interest. So, and I, you know, to the survey that, you know, to be thinking about what motivates you to be here. And, you know, I mean, we need an IDA board. It's an important function and serves an important purpose in this whole thing. But its role will be much more technical and targeted. And so, you know, we can explore stuff like, does it continue to need to be 7 members? You know, we may only meet every other month or then as needed based on, you know, if we need to approve a resolution for a project or something. But, you know, just recognizing that the role of this board will probably actually change more than any of the other partners involved. And figure out, you know, what everyone's interests are there.
It'll shift to just the items for approval stuff on our agenda, which is our focus to start with. And that's where I've struggled over the years is where is there time to talk about big picture economic development when we have to focus on the incentives and the resolutions and the policies and compliance with the IDA. So it's really just about streamlining, making things more simple, in my opinion. All right, we'll keep you all posted and appreciate your support and feedback throughout this process.
Hi, Falls.
High Falls, Kevin, provide an update on where you're at with High Falls.
Purchase agreement. I have not finished. There's kind of some blank areas in there, like the description of exactly what you're buying.
Yeah.
It's like
Survey.
sort of the survey.
Yeah. On site last week with Jenny. The appraisal has been scheduled. So,
Is the survey ready to go out, John?
Yep. So that will continue to move that along.
That's what I'm going back to the naturally Lewis 8 does exist now. So the first stage is setting up the corporation to the state and that part's done. The next step is to 501c3 process. Generic set of bylaws to sort of start the process of looking at bylaws. So we'll get that to you. We'll start with that.
Appreciate that, Kevin. Any other questions? right, anything else for? Nothing else, take a motion to adjourn. Gagan, second. Mackenzie, all in favor? Meeting adjourned, thank you.
Thanks.
We stay longer, we're not expecting you back at the office.